What up, where it's man Dream where Dream Motivates. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Blueprint where we interview dope entrepreneurs. And this one is one of my favorites. She's turned from doctor to entrepreneur. Stay tuned. All right, welcome to the Entrepreneur Blueprint where we have one of my favorite entrepreneurs. And listen, I got a lot of questions.
Okay.
I want the viewers to understand that, sometimes they feel like I'm job bashing.
Mhm.
They feel like, man, you always job bashing. Why y'all? Dang, some of us have to have jobs, and now I understand you do. But I want to most definitely go in and dive in. So shout out to you. Dr. Loretta is in the building. Shout
Mhm.
out. Thank you for holding us down. So now let's get it in. First of all, shout out to Sweater. Your sweater is amazing. So
Thank
go ahead
you.
and plug your school up. I know.
Oh no, yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead and
I love being from a HBCU, so there's much pride in being a graduate of Alcorn State University, and this beautiful sweater was made by HBCU graduate Jay Imamu Clothing
I
Company.
like it.
He went to Alcorn State University as well,
I
and
like it.
so shout out. HBCU gave me my identity and confidence in being a black person who could be successful in a world that doesn't look like me. So,
Shout out to your school and a lot of other HBCUs. I'm super excited to have you on the show today, because this is probably going to be one of my favorite interviews because how much you are going in
mhm,
on entrepreneurship right
mhm,
now.
mhm,
So let's go ahead and let the record show you are a real doctor.
mhm.
Some people like Dr. Pepper, like whatever. Like not like what I'm saying. Like you're a real doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Dr.
Like I don't
Pepper.
know if Dr. J was a real doctor. He probably was. But some people like my name is Doctor So and So, and then you
Mhm,
look him up and be like, bro. For the record, you
mhm.
are a real live doctor.
Yes, there's a common misconception of real doctor. I don't even like those words together, just because of the public eye of what a real doctor is. And so I am a doctor in my profession, which means I have reached the highest level I can reach in my profession. I am a family nurse practitioner, which means I have a graduate degree in primary care, where I see patients for primary care issues, urgent issues, and preventative medicine and things of that nature. And so when the public hears real doctor, they may think of an MD, which is a valid doctor. Some may think of a DO, but I am a DNP. So we kind of we assess, diagnose, prescribe, and treat people. And so yeah, so that's just what I do or
All
what
right.
I've done. I'm retired from that right now. I went into transition into full time entrepreneurship to provide services on a different level, reach more people. But healthcare is my heart though, because it
I love
changed
it. I
lives too.
love it. And so like let's go ahead and rack up some math because
Mhm.
numbers don't lie, right?
Mhm.
All right. So let's go ahead. Number one, how many years of school did you go to?
So, so 4 years in undergrad.
Four.
I did. I obtained my RN degree at Alcorn State
Shout
University. It
out.
has one of the greatest nursing programs out
Shameless
there.
plug. Let's get it.
And I obtained a master's degree at Arizona State University. That took me 2 years, and then I obtained my doctoral degree, which took me another 3 years.
Hold
And
up.
I did my residency
Oh man.
here in Texas.
All right. So all right. Right. So let's do some math. Is that 7 years?
That's a lot of years.
Is
I
it
don't
seven or
know.
eight
You
years?
said math, don't
Hold
you?
on. Four, and then two,
Two, then
then
three.
three.
So that's six, nine.
9 years. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I need y'all. I need y'all to pay attention, please. Okay, because I'm really, I really, really. This probably gonna be my highlight entrepreneur interview
Okay.
because of what you just said. So
Mm-hmm.
let's go into this number. How much in finances did it cost you for those 9 years?
A lot. But I mean, I went to undergrad, a full time track scholarship for ride, so I didn't have to have that as an expense. But you know, a lot of people are not blessed in that way. But for graduate school, I'd say about 2 to 300,000.
All right, so if you didn't have that scholarship, that would be what?
Probably like 4 to 500,000.
$400,000 to $500,000.
Mhm.
So we're talking 9 years,
Mhm.
$400,000 to $500,000. So 9 years of life,
Mhm.
$500,000
Mhm.
of money that you had to pay or potentially. Um, and you left that
Mhm.
to go into entrepreneurship, wealth
Mhm.
development as a
Mhm.
financial coach at this point.
Mhm.
Now, that is huge.
Mhm.
So we really got to dive in, and I want to kind of start and segue right there. Kind of want to go right into it
Mhm.
because your background is, of course, when you are you were you one of the little kids that says I want to be a nurse when you grow up? Did you always want to be a nurse? I want to be a doctor. I want to be a nurse. When you said that, what as a child made you say, I want to be, because it was a kind of cliche thing back in
Right,
the day.
right,
I want
right.
to be a doctor. I want to be a
Mhm.
fireman. I want to be. What made you say that as a kid?
So I am from born and raised small town in Mississippi, Edwards, Mississippi. It's a rural area where there is no access to, well, then it wasn't. It's maybe a little bit more now, but there was no access to real health care in the area. There was no access to other things that most developed cities have. And so my grandfather was bedridden and he needed a nurse to come take care of him. Where I'm from and the people I were around, I didn't see, I don't think there was a college graduate in my family. It wasn't. I had never seen a college graduate. And so my first experience and encounter with a professional was a nurse who was taking care of somebody that I love. And so I was like, oh, okay, I want to do that. And mindset matters too because my grandparents and my they used to say to me, "Oh, you're gonna grow up and be this," because I was very nurturing. I like to take care of people. I would help them, and so me seeing that and being told that, I was like, okay, yeah, I can make a career out of this. So I said from then that that's what I wanted to do. I set it out, decided that I was going to go to college, major in it, and that's what I did. I'm a pretty uh, strong mindset type of person. So once I set my mind on something, I'm gonna go for it until I achieve it. So it's hard to pivot.
Okay, so nine. That's a lot of time.
Mhm.
9 years
Mhm.
of life,
Mhm.
hard work, tests,
Mhm.
cramming,
Mhm.
running the class, being late for class. You probably were never late. Were you ever late?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and 500 potentially, two, $300,000 later. Um, because you got the scholarship. Because I'm going to get the math right.
Mhm.
What was the trigger that said, you know what, I'm out. I can't do this no more. Where was you at? What were you doing? What
Mhm.
was the final? I'm out. I'm fit to jump in.
Okay. Well, I think that is a layered answer. To be honest, it wasn't necessarily a trigger, but I'll tell you what made me pull the trigger. But I, as a kid, I saw my mom, who is one of 17 kids, who was a
Oh,
single parent, literally change the legacy of our family by becoming an entrepreneur. Like came from nothing. She worked 1,000 jobs to make sure she took care of my sister and I. And the way our lives changed was due to her opening up a business. And we were all we had. And see, we were just engulfed in business. So she had no business degree, she had no college degree, but she knew she needed to do something different to give us a better life. And that thing was starting a business. And so I would, I want to laugh at this, but I would like create the bids and the invoices that she would take to the companies to get her contract as a kid.
You were doing that.
I was doing that. And it worked
Okay.
because she would get the contracts and
Wow.
get it whatever. And then my sister and I, if we were doing, so it was a janitorial service. So she did it initially by herself first, but as we got older, like if she had to do a residential property, she'll get us a gig, we'll clean it up, and bills got paid. We, could do stuff. And then she was able to help us buy our first cars in high school, just take care of us like a two-parent home. But it was because she created cash flow by way of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And so I was exposed to entrepreneurship all along. I knew that I wanted to become an entrepreneur, but I also wanted to become a healthcare professional.
Hmm.
And so I didn't know that I would transition or whatever. I knew that it would eventually be in the cards for me, but I didn't know how, and I didn't think it would be in financial services or planning. But so fast forward to being an adult as a healthcare provider, working full time for a big organization. I don't like how I didn't like how services were being provided to a population that I love. I have a vested interest. So going to work every day, being who I am, having my certifications, my degrees, and saying that I want to help this person of color, but I can't really help them
Mm.
because they are now a number. They need to be seen in 15 minutes. But that does more harm than good to them, especially someone who has chronic illnesses who are on several different medications. They
Mm.
know nothing about how it works and how to even get them off that, how to create a plan to get them healthier, and so on and so forth. I wanted to do that type of work.
Gotcha.
And I feel like ownership in certain ways would allow me to provide that type of care for people in the way that they need it, as opposed to in a way that it has to be pushed because they're a number, because the business is worried about the bottom line, because of the so on and so forth. We know that in our community we need different types of resources because we have our own sets of issues,
Yeah.
and it's layered, and it's not one size fits all. But when you're in a system that is catered to bottom line or whatever the case may be, you end up doing more harm than good. So I
Yeah.
wanted to transition into entrepreneurship by any means necessary.
So it was already embedded as a child. You say, I'm going to do this, but let me go ahead and get this doctor and be a
Yeah,
nurse and that.
yeah. In my for my high school project, I actually did a business plan on opening several clinics. And I just remembered I did this like a couple of years back, but opening several clinics in rural areas.
Mm.
And so fast forward to my friend who I went to nursing school with, undergrad. We studied together. We cried because we wanted to go to sleep, but we had to stay up to study. We She invited me to this meeting, and I was just being a supportive friend, like I am. I go hard for my friends. Didn't know what it was going to be about. Just showed up. So I'm hearing things that I wanted to hear, that I believe in, as it pertains to building wealth, transferring wealth, and things of that nature. I never really, kind of felt like 401k and stuff like that was the best option for me, because when I got my first real job in the ICU, that was when the housing market crashed and people lost like almost 50% of their lifetime savings. And ever since that moment, I had been searching. So this is over a decade, searching for different solutions and different ways to grow my money and protect it. But I couldn't find it because everyone that I talk to and everyone that I know knows the same things. They're doing the same things. And so I couldn't find the information. So fast forward to this meeting. I'm like, bingo, that's what I've been looking for. These are the conversations that I have been wanting to have, because I know that that thing was not going to get me closer to my goals. So I initially sat down with a financial professional to do my personal finance,
Mm-hmm.
set up stuff for myself, my
Mm-hmm.
husband, my kids, my niece and nephew. And so I did all of that. And I was learning so much throughout the process
Yeah.
that, remember I told you I like
Oh
information and
yeah,
I
you a
love
dictionary.
sharing
You
information.
definitely a dictionary.
So I'm
Look it
just,
up.
referring people over
Yeah.
to the financial professional. And he's like, well, if you're going to keep sending me people, you may as well use this as another stream of income.
And that's when it started. All right, listen, I'm about to give you a whole bunch of rapid fire questions.
Uh oh.
I need you to be ready
Uh oh.
because the viewers want to know.
The viewers
All
want
right,
to
so
know.
the
Did they
viewers
call
want to
you?
know. They holler at you.
Okay.
They want to see what's good.
Okay.
Shout out to the Eagles fans. I'm gonna give y'all representation. Shout out to y'all doing good. All right, so
4-0. 4-0.
okay, calm down. All right, so what is the potential of a doctor that is really good
Mhm.
that went to school for 9 years?
Mhm.
What is the potential earnings that that doctor can make a year?
Anywhere from, I'd say, maybe, if they're just a doctor, maybe anywhere from 2 to 300 a year, unless they're doing like some procedural work like surgery and stuff like that. They can earn more. So 200-300,000 average.
So one of the biggest fears for people that have a job,
Mhm.
they're at the job, they're every day. There's two main reasons that I see people not being afraid. The fear, it's a fear
Mhm.
of leaving their job. Number one is financials, and two is health benefits. So we're gonna
Mhm.
talk about financials.
Mhm.
Is it safe to say, because you've been doing what you've been doing, what, 2 years?
Mhm.
Is it safe to say that you have replaced your income?
Oh yeah, yeah. I did that in like 3 months.
So hold up, you replaced your income in 3 months
Mhm.
doing what you're doing,
Mhm.
and you teach people to do what you do
Mhm.
at this second.
Yes.
Okay, shout out to that.
Mhm.
Now, what about the people that are afraid, right? They don't have health benefits. They
Mhm.
don't know what to do.
Mhm.
They're staying at this no disrespect, temporary jail cell.
Mhm.
Um, I know y'all mad at me for that, but I'm just saying you're at a place that you don't like every day just because you need some health benefits. I don't.
Mhm.
I'm not. I'm trying to help you out right now.
Yeah, trying to find out.
So, what would you say to that person? Okay, okay, you can. This can happen. You can replace your income. We
Mhm.
found that out from
Mhm.
a doctor.
Mhm.
All right. Second, health benefits. What would you tell this person?
So, I'm all about the message being received the correct way. So, that fear is real. So, a person's perspective and their perception, it's a real thing for them. So, I would say if you're fearful of becoming an entrepreneur, you can build a business alongside of what you're doing, alongside of your job. That's what I did. I knew I wanted to become an entrepreneur, but I'm not a fool either. And I take calculated risk. So, my calculated risk is let me do what I need to do to replace my income,
Mm-hmm.
make sure my finances and my debt is low, so that when I transition over into financial services or entrepreneurship, whatever that may be, if it doesn't pick up right away, I don't have a lot to worry about.
Correct.
And so doing it methodically with a plan, like get a mentor or something like that. Don't just quit and just make a decision that may not suit you. Make a safe plan. So people who are fearful, they can align with a business coach, a financial coach, or a mentor that can help them transition from full time employee to entrepreneurship. And as you begin to build a business, if you build a business, you can create your own healthcare plan. A lot of times we are stuck with jobs and we stay in jobs because we want that retirement benefit, but we think that's the only one that exists. There are options outside of that, and so knowing that there are options other than what your job may be offering, and then you can start your own health benefit plan. And if you make enough money, you may not need a health benefit
There you
plan
go.
in a sense if you have the right financial plan. And so it all starts with having the idea, changing what you're doing, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. If you're unhappy, just think about your past decade. Now you've been an entrepreneur for forever, but just think about people who are working. If your today looks like 10 years ago,
Something's wrong. No elevation. You're sitting in the elevator. You didn't even go up at all. You just stay right there.
I'm just gonna sit here and I'm sitting here because I want my health benefits.
Shut up.
If I go to the doctor, my deductible still more than what I can afford.
The math ain't mathing.
It's not mathing, and so we have to have a plan to make the math math.
All right, here's another question. I
Mm-hmm.
wanna validate something real quick because this is such dear to me because I grew up very poor. So
Mm-hmm.
my father had more degrees than the thermometer. We was broke.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, we had roach infestation, and I remember behind the degrees that he got,
Mm-hmm.
the roaches was throwing a party behind that boy.
I didn't
Like it
mean to
was.
laugh.
No, it's
But
it's
the
my
way
it's
he
my reality. The roaches is cop blocking and pop blocking and doing every rolling dice. So my thing is like in this type of so it haunts me. It
Mm-hmm.
haunts me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yo, all these degrees. So it wasn't attractive,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, right? It wasn't attractive.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you
Mm-hmm.
is: it safe to say that the financial system
Mm-hmm.
is setting people up for failure?
No, I think.
No, oh no, wait. Let me go back. I'm sorry. The educational system is the educational system, not the financial system, not
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Is the educational system
Mm-hmm.
setting people up for failure?
Well, I still say no. What I will say is information and education is key, regardless of what it is. But the lack of financial education is setting people up for failure. So, because we are highly educated in other things and not finance, what we learn and earn kind of it's kind of for nothing because we end up losing it all.
Then that means you're setting up for failure.
Not
Well, let me ask you a
not
question.
necessarily.
Let me ask you a question then, because I mean, and you might want to reconsider that answer because I think people maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the biggest thing. I remember when I graduated from school, and I tried to go get a car,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I wanted to go get a car. I went to a car dealership. Matter of fact, it was a spot called Village Lincoln Mercury and Mazda.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, they were selling Mercury's, Mazdas, and all that stuff right there. And the dude said, "Well, how's your credit?" Now, I went through high school and I never even heard of this word credit. Now, even I haven't heard it one time. So yeah, he was like, "Yeah, credit, man. Experian, Transfusion, and Equifax. I never heard of none of these guys, right?"
Mm-hmm.
So he pulled it, and I didn't understand. I haven't. Therefore, I got turned down.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, to this day, I haven't used algebra.
Mm-hmm.
I have not used algebra, and algebra pissed me off because
Mm-hmm.
it was numbers and
But
letters.
an engineer does. So that's why I'm very clear on my answer. I don't. It's the lack of financial education. The financial illiteracy is what's causing people to fail. I think that we should restructure the curriculum in a way that we're adding that on early.
Why
We
wouldn't they
have
put it in though?
a lot of things are done in this country by design,
That's what I'm
from
talking about.
marginalization. But what I'm saying to you is education, and regardless of which area, is important. We need engineers, we need doctors, we
Yeah.
need nurses, we need nutritionists, we need da 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 da. And school systems and all of that, it teach you get something. You're interacting with people, networking, you're learning discipline. It's important, but if you're not teaching all aspects of life that is going to make you successful, that's when you get set up for failure. And um, what we are exposed to or the lack thereof will determine the trajectory of our lives. There are people who are going to school with us who has financial education because maybe their parents had it
Let me ask you a
or
question.
because they were.
What would the world look like though? What would the world look like is if during high school they did teach us credit. They did teach us, or in high school,
Mm-hmm.
they did teach us credit. They did teach us how to start a bond or trust fund. They did teach us how to. What would the
Mm-hmm.
world look like? And if they know that, why don't they put it inside the school? And secondly, I do agree with you. If you're an engineer, you do need to become. You need to learn algebra. You need to learn a couple more things, but give that person an option at this point. Guess what? A graduate of 2024, you now have an 800 credit score.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead and go out there and be great,
Mhm.
or mess it all the way up. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, we don't get that structure. We don't
Mhm.
get that set up. So since that is not, that ingredient
Mhm.
is not in that cake, that means that cake is going to fall. That ingredient, that
Mhm.
one
Or will
ingredient
you
is not.
stop? Would you stop making cakes,
No,
or
you
would you
can't.
put the ingredient in there?
You got to, and I'm with you. Wait, no, no. I'm saying that they should. This is
Mhm.
some. This is the ingredient they should,
Mhm.
but they still haven't.
Mhm.
Not none that I've
It's a
seen.
lot of stuff that exists in this world that do not serve our community.
Correct.
And I talk about this often with my friends who are willing to have this conversation with me. Like, we have to be our own resource, or resources for our community, and we have to uh, take that on seriously and intentionally, because if we continue to wait on someone else, whoever you're speaking of, to
Yeah.
put it in the school system,
Mm-hmm.
then how long we've been waiting.
Right.
And so that is another reason why I'm passionate about what I do, because I see how that changes the world, how that can create more equity and equality, more economic power, how it can create more transformational wealth and generational wealth, because we're building our wealth while we live. We're living in a great way, being able to start businesses that become solutions to the problem that exist, without having to wait on someone else to do it, who's not going to do it because it may not be priority, or we may not want it to happen for whatever reason. And so if you or I have a vested interest in seeing the community thrive, then we should do something about that.
Yeah. And shout out to no shameless plug. I started a online university called Dream Motivates University.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for entrepreneurs and for the education of entrepreneurship. However, I got to go back and I love it. The key word is education. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying you need to be educated. If you want to learn something, special shout out to YouTube University. Go YouTube it and learn about it and press rewind if you didn't get it the right way. You can't press rewind on all those years that you just
Right.
spent in school.
Mm-hmm.
So no disrespect to Christopher Columbus, no disrespect to all the other stuff, the irrelevant information. It was just a box of irrelevant,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. I know
Right.
y'all gonna, I might
No,
piss
no, no,
somebody off,
no. But that's
but in
what.
my opinion, yo, you gave me a whole bunch of stuff that was not applicable to me. I need to learn how to get to the bag. I need to learn how to get to this money. I need to learn how to take care of my family. Why? How come you gonna give me $80,000, $100,000 for a student loan, but I can't get a business loan? I can't. You
Mm-hmm.
can't teach me about my credit.
Well, that
So
student loan is going to have compound interest for the rest of your life. That's going to be used against you, when we
exactly.
need to be learning about
Go.
how to use compound interest in
And
our favor.
therefore, sis,
Mm-hmm.
let's go back to me saying,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it's sensitive, especially if you got educators out there and you've been through a school system. And I do believe and that you do need to learn how to deal with people, and you need the experience of going out. You need experience of joining an alumni. You need experience. I think that life you need that experience. But however, you know, not one time, not one. Like I didn't even get a like a. Not one time did I hear about Equifax.
Mm-hmm.
Not one. I didn't hear about, hey, so boys and girls,
Mm-hmm.
now that you're 16, go home and ask your mommy and daddy to put you on their credit card
Mm-hmm.
to be an authorized user.
Right.
So your credit, just that one, if they didn't have to teach a whole course.
Right.
They could have said that one thing
Mm-hmm.
and would have set that up for failure. And
Right.
before you answer that, I want to go back to the viewers. Shout out to everybody. We right here with the Entrepreneur Blueprint. We about to get spicy, man. Hopefully I don't offend nobody. But this is Dr. Loretta. Let's get it. What up, guys? Man, Dream with Dream Motivates University. Here's what you get with your tuition. Number one, you're going to get an awesome Letterman jacket, t-shirt, and wristband. Let's deep dive. We're going to get discounts on all events and courses, a list of Zoom masterclasses with skilled instructors, access to our amazing book club. We're also going to give you discounts to all marketing materials brought to you by Dream Media Agency. And last but not least, discounts on all our merch. I can't wait. I'll see you on the other side. DMU, Dream Motivates University. Let's get it. And welcome back to the Entrepreneur Blueprint. It's your man Dream and Dream Motivates. I am here with Dr. Loretta. We're getting spicy, we're getting extra spicy right now because um, the word is perspective. And I finally get the chance to holler at a doctor
Hmm.
that literally left and said, yo, listen, I'm going to replace my 9 year, $500,000 spending and making the money that I made to do all that, and I'm gonna replace that in 3 months. I need to hear what you did and how you did it. And we were talking about the educational system. I think you get where I'm coming from.
Hmm.
I don't mean any disrespect to any college out there. I think it's amazing. Shout out to every college. Shout out to every. All I am saying is they did not put this ingredient
Hmm. That's
and
true.
therefore it is setting us up
Hmm.
for failure. Just
Hmm.
please do me a favor
Hmm.
and understand the education system as it's failing us now. But we can change it, and
Hmm.
we are changing it. I was just wondering, like, if you thought, if you kind of understand which way I was going with it, and how we can make it a better situation. So as you are seeing life from this side of the
Hmm.
coin from 2 years, um, what would you say to anybody that is on the fence right now from leaving their job? Like, I know you said you have to have a plan,
Hmm.
right? Um, but basically, the benefits. How are you living now
Hmm.
with your family?
Hmm.
How are you living versus how you were living then? Is the lifestyle better?
Yes, it is better. I think I've become a better wife, a better mother. My finances are better. I know more about finance and I know more about growing money. And I have financial freedom and time freedom now. So that also facilitates a better life. So I can wake up with my kids. We can eat breakfast together. I can do their hair, send them off to school. I can pick them up from school. I can prepare dinner. And between them doing what they need to do throughout the day, I've already transacted hundreds of thousands of dollars from the comfort of my home if I want
Come
to.
on, let's go.
And if I need to fly out somewhere, I can fly out somewhere to go teach somebody some concepts. So a business want me to teach their employee, or like a nonprofit wants me to. I can do that. But when I was a healthcare provider, the work that I did was great. A lot of people came to me for me to teach them things that I needed to teach them and to treat them. But that was one person that I could reach,
Gotcha.
one person at a time, or maybe 1 to 30 people in a day. Where being an entrepreneur, I have a larger scale. I can reach more people,
Correct.
and it still transcends into healthcare in another way because um, one of the reasons it piqued my interest to go ahead and make the transition into financial service because my business mentor asked me, if money was not an object, what would you do?
Hmm. Good question.
And my answer was I would build clinics in rural areas. And he said, what does it take to do that? I said, capital. You need capital money. He said, now, do you have a plan to build that capital right now? Like, what do you? And I was like, no. Do you have time to come up with that plan or seek somebody to help you with that plan? No, like I'm working day and night.
Hmm.
I'm working 10 hours a day. Still have to come home and write prescriptions, send
Wow.
patient messages and
Wow.
stuff like that. And I loved what I did, but then I had less time with my kids and less time to spend on building my dreams. And that dream was to provide resources to the community. But I'm staying with a job all in the name of I'm helping people, but I'm limiting how I can help people.
Hmm.
And so I immediately saw that becoming an entrepreneur at that moment would allow me to help more people and get me closer to my goal of being able to have the power and the finances to build those clinics. I was able to use some of my capital to buy land and to be able to do that. And so, ownership, there's power in it. But it took entrepreneurship to help me get closer to ownership. Yes, I made decent money in healthcare, but a lot of times the salary that you make with your job, it affords you a nice lifestyle, but does it allow you to create wealth, especially if you don't have a right financial plan, or you don't even know that you should be thinking about a financial plan.
Gotcha.
But then if you are working for a job that takes up all of your day and some, and then you're also growing a family, when do
Correct.
you have time to dream, for one?
Man,
When do you have time to put a plan to that
you
dream?
don't. You
When do
don't.
you have time to implement the things that you need to achieve that goal?
So this is very important to me, and I wanna segue into fun facts, some stuff that you teach.
Hmm.
So during the commercial break, we had a chance to talk to you for a second, and I talked to you earlier prior to this interview, and I want to have a fun fact, and I don't know if I want to get my editors to go ahead and put some numbers up. We're going to do some real fun, real quick. We're going to
Hmm.
use the number $100,000.
Hmm.
All right. So Dr. Loretta, if you put $100,000 in your regular bank account at the end of the 365 calendar year, how much do you make?
Well, typically, most banks allow you to earn less than 1% on a regular savings account. If you have a checking account, most of the time, unless it's an accelerated checking account, you can't earn a lot of interest on that. And so most people use their disposable income to save. And so if most of your extra money outside of expenses are going into your savings, that's earning you 0.01% or 0.05%. If it's not keeping up with cost of living and inflation, which may be upwards right now, 8 to 10%, depending on the time we're speaking of, then your dollar is depreciating because it's just not growing fast enough. It's not on pace. And so when your dollar depreciates, you can't take that same dollar to go purchase something that was worth a dollar, because now your dollar is worth maybe 90 cents or less,
Got it.
just the timing that you're spending that money. And so nothing is wrong with saving, but everything you have, all of your extra money, cannot continue to grow that slowly, because at the end of the day, you will not have enough money when you need it. When you can't go to work, it didn't grow and compound, and you won't have anything to replace.
So what is that like? So 100,000 to 0.015% or whatever it is. Would you say at the end of the 365 calendar year, where we at, babe? We might made $1,000,
The
if
reason
that,
the reason I didn't answer the question, because
because it fluctuates.
no, because I think it's the value of it is less. You're talking about numbers and I'm talking about
Value.
value, and I think the value concept is more important, because okay, let's say you got maybe 1,000, but right now, okay, if inflation is 8.5%, but you saved your money at 0.05%, then there's an 8% gap
Gap.
in
Okay.
the buying power of that dollar.
Okay. And then what you teach people,
Uh huh.
instead of putting money there,
Mhm.
you put it somewhere,
Mhm.
same money,
Mhm.
but you put it somewhere, and instead of making that
Mhm.
interest that's not compounded,
Right.
put it somewhere where you're getting like a 9, 8 to 9%,
Mhm. Right.
where it is compounded.
Right.
Let's
Mhm.
explain.
And it's growing it. So, if I'm talking about, I say this thing: secure the bag, grow the bag, and protect the bag. We know how to make money. We know how to go to work and maybe exchange our time for money. But if it's not growing, we're losing. It's equivalent. If it's not growing, it's losing. And so it used to be where we had to invest and grow our money to get ahead. Right now, it's imperative to break even. Like, just think about, everything is more expensive, but there are not increases in salary like that. You're not getting that drastic change in how much you're making, and you're not getting that drastic change in how much you're earning at the end of the year from your bank, in a regular savings account. So if that's the case, what's the solution? The solution is find a vehicle that allows your money to earn more interest.
I like it.
And if it's earning more interest, you want to make sure it's compounding, meaning that you have uninterrupted growth where you earn interest on top of interest. And so you have more of your money sooner, so that when you need it, you can access it to do what you need to do. or in case of emergencies where you can't work because of health issues.
So this is in so many words because I know you go into different levels of this.
Mhm.
This is exactly what you do, probably 6 to 7 times a day with individuals
Mhm.
as a
Mhm.
wealth coach
Yeah.
right now,
Mhm.
and how this is how you replaced your
Mhm.
income.
Yes. Mhm.
So going forward,
Mhm.
as a call to action for people that are listening right
Mhm.
now. And by the way, we have a link, an affiliate link with you, and thank you for the affiliate link that
Mhm.
people can go ahead and chime in. But as people are learning and they're you're piquing their interest right now,
Mhm.
give us three practical things, financial, if you could, like a nugget
Mhm.
that we could learn from you today, just real quick, guys. Right now, do this. Let's do a
Mhm.
call to action. Which
Mhm.
one? What should we do?
Number one, wake up. Okay, number
Wow.
number one, wake up.
Wake up.
Like for real, like I said earlier, if what your finances or whatever you look like today, if it's not any different from 10 years ago, you know that something's not right. That is the foremost thing because we're just doing the same thing over and
It's
over.
insanity.
2 decades, 3 decades,
Wow.
4 decades,
Mm.
5 decades, 6 decades, and then we get there to retirement age 65. Then and we look like we can't retire because we don't have enough money to sustain our monthly expenses.
Wow.
And don't mess around and have a health issue, then you can't even take care of that health issue because you need to see the doctor more, you need to have more medications or whatever case may be, or if you're disabled, now you have to pay someone to help you take care of yourself.
Gotcha.
But you already started out with not enough money. So why I'm saying that waking up is important is because if we don't wake up, that's what we'll do.
Got it.
And so then the second thing is get a financial professional. I can give you some nuggets all day, and I am going to give some nuggets. But if you don't know how to apply those nuggets to your situation and have a customized strategic plan,
Gotcha. Get a coach.
get a coach.
Get a coach. Get
And
somebody that's going to teach you.
and that's why, because people are like, oh, what do I owe you for what you nothing. My consultations are free for now because sometimes people don't value what you do until
Mm.
you put a price on it. But I'm educating people for free because right now I'll give you some nuggets and then show you a different plan, and we monetize it in a different way. But I'm doing it because we need the information
Gotcha.
and we need to know how to use the information.
Gotcha.
And so, get a financial coach. You can pay for one too if you want. We pay for everything else, so that's
Gotcha.
cool.
Yeah.
But then, you want to, if you're meeting with a financial coach or a financial planner or whatever it may be, make sure you're asking them, how do I find out my financial independent number? What should I be paying myself per month, per year, per quarter to make sure I'm on pace to retire at the age that I want to retire? Or make sure that I'm on pace to grow my money
Got it.
instead of not growing your money. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Like, make sure you're asking those things. And then another thing would be have a budget.
Mm.
Prioritize having a budget, not for the sake of restricting yourself from things that you want, but for the sake of giving your money an assignment.
Giving your money assignment.
You
Okay.
want to tell your money what to do. You want to know
Gotcha.
where your money is going so that you can fill in any gaps. You can plug in any holes that are leaking in the boat. Because when you plug those holes up, that
Mm.
means everything's staying in the boat. And the only way it gets out of the boat is because you gave it an assignment.
Gotcha. So look, we have an
Mhm.
assignment for you.
Mhm.
So first of all, I want to say thank you for being helping us being the educator on DMU Dream Motivation University.
Mhm.
Appreciate that. Also being involved with proximity.
Mhm.
Um, if you could in proximity, that word changed it changed my life.
Mhm.
Period. How has the word proximity changed your life? Being in the right place, right people, accidentally having a conversation. I think you said you was at a get together the other day,
Mhm.
and just because you were in the room was
Proximity.
you
Mhm.
were right there. You said you picked up like 10 clients. You weren't even trying.
Wasn't even trying.
I
Just.
want I want to talk about that from a doctor perspective and an
Mhm.
educator.
Mhm.
How powerful is it to get in the room with the right people at the right time? How powerful is it for proximity, period?
It's very powerful because when I mentioned earlier about looking for different ways to grow and protect my money as a young person coming into the workforce, but I was in proximity with people who have been doing the same thing
Powerful,
forever,
powerful.
and I'm actively looking for information, asking the people one by one, asking, but they're giving me the same information because that's all they know.
Correct.
Not saying that they're intentionally misleading me, but that's what they know, that's what they've seen, and they don't know anything else. So when you allow yourself to be in proximity with people who may know different types of things or know things on a different level, you get to stretch yourself. You get to expose yourself to different ways of thinking, living, and implementing things. And when you step outside of your comfort zone and be open to learning those things, that's when your life changes.
That is when life changes. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
Proximity 2.0, you'll be a featured speaker. We got 3.0 coming to a city near you. 4.0, we're going to be on tour with it. I just wanted to reach out to people so they can see, because you can hear it from me, but hearing it from you
Mm-hmm.
is probably going to totally change people because they're like, yo, she's a doctor and she left.
Mm-hmm.
She made a decision. You're living better. You're
Mm-hmm.
with your family more.
Yep.
You're changing your legacy right now, and you
Mm-hmm.
ain't playing no games. Like when I call you, you be on calls. Like you be on calls. You be on
Mm-hmm.
calls. You be taking care of everything
Mm-hmm.
that you got for your family. My mission, I feel like it's my part. Like I can't. I don't think God will allow me to do anything else because I feel like it's my purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went through a lot of pain in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a lot of pain. I used to get talked about when I was a kid. You know, I was born. I was in an adoption center,
Mm-hmm.
so I was born in an adoption center, Salvation Army in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying, and I used to go to school and
So you
kids.
love Phillies?
I love Philly.
Okay.
Shout out to the Eagles. No disrespect. I
Okay.
got you. And those kids used to talk about us
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I had on, no name brand shoes.
Mm-hmm.
My clothes probably didn't smell the best.
Mm-hmm.
Cause we couldn't afford it. It was roach infestation.
Mm-hmm.
My lights was off 2 or 3 weeks at a time. I used to have to wash our clothes with. I used to have to take a bath after my little brothers in
Mm-hmm.
the same bath water.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I went through that,
Mm-hmm.
and my father, and no disrespect, my stepfather, because my
Mm-hmm.
real father walked away. My stepfather had a master's degree,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we were broke,
Mm-hmm.
and I seen that type of life.
Mm-hmm.
You had doctrine,
Mm-hmm.
you had money, and you made money.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, there's somebody out there listening right now
Mm-hmm.
that all they have to do is flip a switch of how they look at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm so passionate about this. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we created Dream Motivation University. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we created Proximity. That's why we created this. My thing to you, if you could just share some light and some motivation to people that's listening from a perspective
Mm-hmm.
of a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
of how you living,
Mm-hmm.
how you living, how you get to touch your children. Shout out to your baby. Shout out to your husband.
Mm-hmm.
He's super dope.
Mm-hmm.
And how amazing it is if you just trust God. I don't mean
Mm-hmm.
put my belief on you.
No, no, no. That's real.
Yeah, yeah. But if you
I
just
wanted to say
trust God
something
enough,
early.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you just trust God enough to believe in everything that He promised you anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and to walk on water,
Mm-hmm.
and to believe in what could you tell people,
Mm-hmm.
just on the end cap before we get out of here,
Mm-hmm.
how that they are good enough, they deserve it,
Mm-hmm.
they can do it, they
Mm-hmm.
can do it just like you did.
Oh yeah. So I would first say that for so long we've equated degrees with wealth. I think that's the first issue. So if I get a master's degree, I'm supposed to have a better life. But that's not necessarily true. How do I can I pass that master's degree on to my kids?
Hmm.
Is that master's degree a legacy for my kids?
Hmm.
Does it create wealth for my
Wow.
kids directly? It doesn't. I love a degree. I got a bunch of them. I don't regret going to college at all. But I do feel highly grateful that, you know, my God gave me the vision and the wherewithal to uh, think about things in a different way, to have the passion to change my life and everyone connected to me. And me knowing that I couldn't do that in my current position, the way that I wanted to do it, the way that I had envisioned to do it on the level that I want to do it, let me know right there that I needed to make a change. And I know that for people who are doubting whether or not they should leave their job, or doubting whether or not entrepreneurship is for them, doubting whether or not they should start that business, you just got to think about if what you're doing right now is getting you closer to your goals,
Mm,
or is what you're doing right now only allowing you to pay the bills. And if that's the case,
mm,
then you know things need to
that's
change.
right.
If you cannot foresee yourself retiring in the near future, and you've been working hard all your life, probably work 40 to 60 hours a week, but it's not getting any better. The reason I'm saying that is because it will allow you to think about it, raise awareness of how you're processing what you're doing every day, and find out that you need to make a change.
Yeah,
And when you find out you need to make a change, you believe in yourself. And even if you have to make a safe plan to transition, build a business alongside what you're doing. Find time, whether it's 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, to commit to building your dreams or replacing your income. Or for me, going into this industry that I'm in, it was starting a business with no overhead cost.
yeah,
So I don't have to take the huge risk.
yeah,
Starting a business that allows me to provide services that I don't have to create,
correct.
it already exists. Starting a business to where I'm just talking about things that people need and guiding them to the resource that will help them get that thing. And so think about those. You don't have to go out and do this big business or come up with this big idea.
Right.
Transition, if that's something you want to do down the line, but if you're trying to create a safe plan, for me, that was, oh, you mean I can do this and I don't have to pay for any overhead costs or hire employees, or unless I want to, and I can replace my income. So it was a little easier to do it alongside what I was doing. And so those are some of the things that I teach other people who are looking to just, have another stream of income, get into transition into entrepreneurship. And now, even since doing that, I've tapped into several other different industries. I'm able to, be in the ground breaking phases of things that's going to turn into community and corporations, just because I took that initial step.
Man, you walked on water.
Yeah, took the initial step. But to me, I'm
Mm,
a person. If God gives me a vision or something in my mind and my heart to do,
yeah,
I'm being disobedient but not following through with that. Not being disciplined enough to step out on faith and do it. And a lot of us, a lot of times, we have those things. God has given it to us too, or whoever you believe in has given you that thing, but we let fear stop us.
yeah. Man, look, shout out to you. We're super proud of you, and
Mm-hmm.
I really am thankful for you being here. I'm also thankful for you allowing Dream Media Agency to be taking care of your marketing. I mean, that's a big deal to us because I've always wanted to shift on that where we can help you transition, in that. How can people get in contact with you? I know we got an affiliate link for people who are interested in your
Mm-hmm.
financial
Mm-hmm.
situation where you could teach them, but how can we all get in contact with you? Go ahead and give a shout out.
Okay, I have a website, leadwithloveagency.com. I also can, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Lead with Love, and I have on my pages in my platform, in my bio link, there is a way to schedule an appointment. So tap in. We also have Lead with Love podcast, where we're sharing great information about different things, different topics from different experts in their own field. So definitely tune in, click like, share, and follow my social media pages and YouTube for more information.
So, sis, thank you again for
Mm-hmm.
hanging out with us here at the Entrepreneur Blueprint. And guys, listen, you got to tag in. Dr. Loretta Wall is here right now. Check her out on all social media platforms. We are here for everybody to learn while they earn at the same time. It's your man with Dream. Dream motivates. Always remember, Keep the Lord first. Out earn the problem. And make sure you're in proximity with greatness. It's your man Dream. Dream motivates. Let's get it. Let's go.